Chapter 2. Mid-Morning. Arriving at Big Bend, he saw the creek was high, sweeping around the horn with surprising speed. While mostly placid on the surface, the curve in the creek's bed ran deep and churned beneath. It slow boiled to the top. It was also quite a bit wider than he remembered. The current's relentless but slow and methodical erosion of the far bank was evident. The finer dirt and sandy material was falling away with each rain and subsequent torrent. It contributed to a muddy tone in that far corner. Nearby, though, was an elevated rock perched perfectly. It was a wide and flat tabletop of granite, and it rose out of the water in a miniature cliff-like manner. It was the ideal station to establish a base of operations for the day's exploration, but that meant a crossing would be the first order of business. While the water was only shin-high at the top of Big Ben's bowl, it slid sharply off into clear but still murky depths, well over his head. He squinted into the sun, his eyes further following the creek, looking for some closely spaced rocks that might be leapfrogged without getting too wet. There appeared to be a suitable stretch upstream, and he headed off to build his bridge. A few large rocks were already well placed in the center, so he went about picking out more flat rocks from along the edge, some as big as he could carry. He struggled to get them into place and a little farther each time. Some of the stones weren't as flat and wobbled a bit while he stood or pivoted off of them. That, combined with the splashing as they were dropped, began to get his feet increasingly wet. With each rock to be dropped, a loud thwack would reverberate through the woods. Naturally, he was not supposed to get his shoes wet, but since the sun had shone marvelously during the construction, he felt reasonably assured they would dry before returning home. When the last stone was wearily dropped into place, he short-hopped to the far bank for the first time. He felt accomplished and brimmed with genuine pride. He knelt to rest a moment, and a knee sunk into the deeper damp leaves, feeling ever so perceptibly wet. He decided to name this spot Damp Crossing. It was dutifully recorded on his map. This was all uncharted territory, virgin land he'd never tread upon. He was thrilled, and the little jolts of electricity generated by his nervous system were now better understood. He was aware of the battery within his own body. He deposited everything but his knife in a spot in the middle of Big Ben's rock precipice, then set about exploring deeper into the forest. The next order of the day was to find a climbing tree into the canopy for better surveying of the new land. A perfect maple sat only a small number of yards away. Its low-lying branches were many, and he began plotting his ascent even as he approached.